You've seen my two favorite multi-tools, the Leatherman Rebar and Leatherman Wave. Now let me show you my first name brand, if you want to call Gerber a name brand multi-tool, the MP600. Now, this one, in the mid-2000s, early in mid-2000s, the U.S. Army issued these out in the General Mechanics Toolkit, GMKT. As a mechanic, I was supposed to get one. However, I did not. My GMKT had already been robbed of its multi-tool, as many of them were. But I was able to find one and acquire it somehow. So here it is. MP stands for multiplier. However, people will sometimes on the internet say it stands for Mr. Pinchey because this multi-tool will pinch you, since in the closed position the handles are so close together. There's no replaceable wire cutters. All the tools, I believe, are 420 HC, as the British would call it. And its coolest feature is also its most obvious feature, and that is its flickable deployment for the pliers. Basically, the goodness ends there. Actually, I will say the lock is kind of nice, and unlike Leatherman tools that will oftentimes clump together when you pull out the inner blades, these blades are all divided, have their own little dividers, so you never have to worry about pulling a knife blade and having a can opener come with it or something like that. And the deployment is also smoother, I would say, than on the Leatherman Rebar, which is probably its best competitor. However, I mean, you look at that bottle opener screwdriver, it's pretty light duty. I don't have my rebar handle handy at the moment. Probably should, but I don't. Refer to my other video if you want to see. And aside from that, there is just a plethora of flathead screwdrivers for some reason. Got a little awl, and I do mean little, as you'll find most of the tools on this are fairly small in comparison with Leatherman counterparts. You got this, on the rebar, you have that nice long three-dimensional screwdriver. On this one, it is also three-dimensional, but it's just as small as the 2D screwdriver on the Wave. There's just not a whole lot of room with the way the plier heads are tracked into the handle, if that makes sense. Can opener on this is actually a little bit more Victorinox-like than the Winger style on the Leatherman. And you got the serrated edge knife blade, which has actually the serration pattern on this is similar to the Rebar. Neither one is necessarily my favorite serration pattern, but the Leatherman knife is at least sharper. Out of the factory anyway. And then you got, just like with the Rebar, you've got this stupid little lanyard loop that no one ever uses. But and these knives tend to rattle a lot. They come in both natural stainless as well as this blackened stainless. The Army typically use the blackened ones, though you would also see the natural colored ones as well. It does have a ruler, and while on the plus side you can read the graduations quite easily, on the downside it's only on one side. Made in the USA. Just like with Leatherman, they're both made in Oregon, I believe. In fact, I think they're both in Portland, Oregon. But, my, what a difference. Gerber at one point was Gerber's motto is legendary blades, and at one point they actually were legendary. That point was many years ago, though. Fiskars bought them out. I'm not exactly sure when. And ever since, they just haven't really done much of anything innovative or quality. If I could leave you with something, if you're not really a knife or multi-tool person, buying something with Gerber these days is probably not going to be a good move. Gerbers tend to be very overpriced for what they are. But there you have it. Oh, and you can also, if you really wanted to, you could use this as like a set of tweezers, perhaps, in that way. But that's all. Have a good one.